All right.
Good.
Okay, Jack. So nice to speak to my friend, and yeah, to have this conversation with you today. So these interviews, the on-action interviews, are all about providing a kind of mentorship within our industry. It's something that I've found is really present in other industries, but doesn't really happen too much in ours. And it wasn't something I was really aware of until I started, number one, going on a kind of business journey, setting up my studio and things. And one of the top bits of advice you get in the business world is like seek out mentors and people who have kind of done what you want to be doing and just take them for lunch or see what you can do for them. And then also have one of my best friends had an amazing mentor facilitated for him by his drama school. So his drama school really like made sure that people were paired up with somebody to offer them mentorship. And I didn't realize this for the first like 2 years that I was friends with him. He was just always knew things that I was like, how do you know that? He just always knew shit that I was like, how do you know that? Where have you got this from? I just thought he was just a genius. Um,
Uh,
and then he told me, guys, I've got this mentor, and what he did for her was he read for her tapes. So,
right.
which I think is the best way that I think if you want to be like helping somebody and that you admire and you might want to be a kind of some kind of mentor is like read for their tapes and maybe afterwards they might give you some good advice.
I love that. That's
So
great.
anyway, so that's what these conversations are about. I'm really happy to speak to you, Jack. We've obviously known each other a long time, and have kind of been on the journey, uh, started out kind of together, and it's been so interesting to kind of see you flourish and see where you've gone with things. Uh, would it be fair to say that as an actor, you're kind of best known for the Take Cover and the Masters of the Air and Last Breath, and you're really a true film actor, aren't you, Jack?
I think so.
Would
I'm
you say
trying to
that?
change.
Yeah. um,
My agent's trying to change that.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's trying to get into TV, which is great. But yeah, film has been the main thing, hasn't it, so
Mhm.
far? Like you said, that's been the main kind of bag at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk about it in more detail later. But that was when we first met because me and Jack worked together when we were first starting out in at a hotel when we were like 21 or something like this. And you were so focused on film even then. I thought you were interested in just educating yourself on film, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You wanted to know about not just being an actor, but you wanted to know about the filmmaking process, where you wanted to like get involved with writing and producing and directing, and you wanted to know about film, isn't it? So, I always thought that was quite. I was always quite inspired by that. Um, Jack, just uh, if you were going to kind of intro yourself as a performer and an artist, how would you how what is the your at this point in your career, what is your introduction for yourself?
well, I've started to lead movies. So I'm
Mhm.
now putting myself in the leading man position. So I'd say I'm a northern actor between the ages of 30 and 40 years old,
Mhm.
and I'm a leading man.
That's exciting. Um, and then Jack, how did you get into acting? Did you always want to be an actor? And then what was your journey into acting right at the beginning?
Yeah, it's interesting. I love telling this story because I never ever knew about acting. So I was a rugby player. I was playing
Hmm.
rugby in these tiny little kind of mining villages in the north. And I live next to this big estate, this big historic estate called Welbeck Estate. It's got like kind of beautiful 18-foot walls and it's great for film sets. So one day, the summer between college and university, we have 5 weeks off, 6 weeks off, doing nothing, waiting to go to university. This massive film came and filmed on the estate. They used Welbeck Estate as the backdrop to this World War One drama called Testament of Youth. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
Kit Harington, Taron Egerton, and Elizabeth Vikander. But at
Mm.
the time, no one knew Taron Egerton. Taron Egerton had just come out of drama school, so it was like his first job, I think.
Hmm.
So their production base was at our kind of village hall.
Mm.
Did every school play there, every, Christmas play there. So that was our village hall.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, they're on
Yeah.
our land. So our parents were saying, you guys should be extras in this. And so we said, what do we do? And they said, go down to the production base, which is at the village hall. So we walked into the production base like we owned the place. There was
Yeah.
five rugby lads. Walked in through the doors, like what are you doing in our gaff?
Mm.
And so there was a woman on a laptop. She looked up and she said, can I help you? And we said, yeah, we want to be extras. And she said,
Mm.
how did you find us? Because it's in the middle of nowhere. It's
Mm.
really in the sticks. And we said, we live here. So we live around the corner. So we said, we can, 5 minutes down the road, if you get a drop out at 6 in the morning, we can be here. All my mates had short back and sides. It's like modern haircuts, and I had long hair. And so they said he can stay because he's got longer hair. We can cut it
Yeah.
to World War One, 1914. But these guys have got two modern haircuts. So they all walked out, oh, it's always him, lucky bugger, he always gets picked. And they took me up for a haircut. And then they gave me a slip that said, go and hand this in. That's your check. And I was like, what's this for? And they said, it's £50. It's for your haircut. And I said, I received £50. And she says, yes, you received £50. You're going to pay me for having my haircut? And she said, yeah. And I was like, this is insane. I had long hair because I couldn't afford a haircut. So I was like, what is going on? And then obviously, you know what it's like. Every job, you get an extra bit of skill as an extra. You get more money and more money overtime, overtime. So I ended up doing like 5 weeks as a World War One soldier. And all the carrot fields that I played in as a kid, or we would always play around Welbeck Estate. That was as far as the eye could see. All I could see is 1914 trenches
Mm.
and trucks and extras, and
Mm.
as far as the eye could see, I couldn't see anything else but 1914. I was really transported into this world. So, and then I saw the cameras, and then I saw like Taron Egerton and Kit Harington, and then performing, and it really blew me away. I was watching these guys, and I
Yeah.
couldn't believe the kind of logistics of the set.
Mm.
I'd watch the director talk to the actors and the actors perform, and I wanted it so bad. I was like, in any capacity.
Yeah.
As a young kid, I was like 19. I would do anything on set, but I didn't understand this world. I just figured I should be an actor. I just thought, well, I should be an actor. People say I could be an actor. I should be an actor.
Yeah.
So I went to uni in Leeds to do sports science, and all I would Google is how to become an actor. So
Yeah.
I had no role models, no mentors. It just took me years to figure it out. And I remember saying to that first AD on the computer, she was like third AD, how do
Mm.
I become an actor? And she laughed because she said it's because she was like it was monumental how much work you've got to do. She laughed and said it's a lot of work. You got to go drama school, go to Spotlight, you got to get an agent, you got to get a show reel. And I was just like, yep, 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 note it all down. Cool. I'm gonna go to work. So I
Mhm.
got did 2 years at sports science, and then by the second year, I was like, didn't even sit my exams. I was like, I'm so certain on what I want to do. There's no
Mhm.
point in wasting a pound or a penny more in sports science.
Mhm.
Dropped out, moved to London. That was the goal.
And so then, what were you thinking about doing next? Did you want to like study? Were you kind of thinking about, yeah, what did you do next when you got to London?
I just had no idea any of it. I didn't know
Mm.
any of it. So I didn't know there was such a thing as a drama school. So I
Mm.
used to be obsessed with films as a kid. I used to watch
Mm.
films. But once the film ended, that's all I thought about it. I didn't think about, is that a career? Is that how do they make that thing? It
Yep.
was just very black and white for me as a kid. I just didn't really understand the world. So I didn't know about drama schools. So
Yep.
by the time I think by the time I got to London, I was looking at drama schools. I think I was looking into it, and I'd already used 2 years of government funding for my
Mm.
sports science degree. And you only get 4 years, I think, at the time of
Mm.
government funding. So
Mhm.
I would have had to finance a year of my drama school, the last one.
Mhm.
And I didn't really understand it. I didn't, I just started, so I didn't really get it how you did get an audition for drama school or anything. So I was looking into it, but I just thought that seems like it's too late for me.
Mm.
Weirdly, at 19.
Yeah,
Too
yeah,
late for that. So the next thing to do was to get showreel footage. That was like I was asking all these extras on sets, going, how do you do it? What do you do? And they said, oh, you probably need a showreel. So I just started doing kind of student short films. That was the initial thing, music
yeah,
videos,
yeah,
get
yeah,
some footage, get an agent. That was kind of the idea.
yeah.
Because
So
I
what
thought
was
I'd
all
start
your
drama. So
was all your first work the short films?
Yeah, yeah, mainly kind of student stuff. So
Hmm.
student short films, student music videos, and once I got enough footage, then I tried to get an agent, and then I figured out there's a barrier there because they need you on Spotlight. So it's
Hmm.
like get on Spotlight and then come back to us, and I was like, but I can't get on Spotlight because I haven't got enough credit. So it's like all this stuff just I was figuring out as I go along. You know, I realized you need three speaking roles on IMDb to get on Spotlight at the time. I was like, okay, well, how do I do that? So it's just that kind of, breaking
Yeah.
down.
How did you do that, Jack?
So again, once I was on these sets, I was like, how do you guys get work? And they said, well, if you haven't got an agent, you can get work on Star Now and Mandy. So I was on Mandy and Star Now trying to figure out, at the time, it might have changed now. At the time, you needed three credits and they had to be speaking roles in feature films or TV. It couldn't be a short film,
Yeah.
or you had to be in education.
Yeah.
So I've done short films, so I was looking for features. So I was hunting down features on Star Now and Mandy, really gunning for like a few credits.
Yeah.
Uh, and even if I got an essay role,
Mm.
an extra role, I would be pushing for a line or pushing for a
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Uh, Cheekily, but I was like, look, I'm trying to get on Spotlight. Like,
Yeah, that's age old.
yeah,
That's what Brad Pitt famously did, isn't it?
yeah,
Where he
yeah.
nearly got fired trying to get into
Yeah,
a speaking
and
role.
it's big risk, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
all those they say do not do that.
yeah,
But if the it was small enough, like a
mm,
100 grand movie, I knew it wasn't a blockbuster Hollywood thing. I'd just say, hey, casting director, can I give me one word, or
yeah,
just give me a name, just make it look like an
yeah.
IMDb. That
Exactly.
okay. Anything really.
Yeah,
And so eventually I got on Spotlight, and then I could apply to agencies, and that's kind of how I did it.
yeah, and like when we first met, I remember you were doing the one you just made this film. I think it was your maybe your first lead role. Um, this was this queer story. Um,
Oh, yeah, was it This World We Live In, the short film?
this is where we live in. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that was a time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I remember you just kind of which it did quite well, no?
It did. Yeah, it did well on YouTube. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you were kind of starting out writing and would one of the things that I always admired you for was that you put your writing on Twitter.
Oh, did I?
Do you remember?
No, what
That-
was I
wh-
put?
Well, I'm sure I'm not imagining that when you were first starting writing film, that
Hmm.
you were putting extracts of your writing out and asking for feedback,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
just remember was so bold. And you got loads of responses, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd learned pretty early on that honest feedback was the best feedback. I had
Mm,
one writer that got back to me and said, ripped it apart, ripped
mm,
a script apart. And then he said, again, we're talking about mentors and role models and stuff. I
mm.
think his mentor told him, only get honest feedback,
Yeah,
only rip it apart. You don't need to praise me because great, it's all nice, but I need to know what I'm doing wrong, especially
yeah.
adults. So I would ask people to rip it to shreds. So
Mm,
like rip my script to shreds, tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong. And that was the quickest I'd learned
mm.
how to write, was asking for harsh feedback. That sped things up pretty quick.
Yeah, and I did remember thinking at the time because like I'd kind of come out of drama school and things, and I think had a bit of a that gave me a bit of a is probably ego is really the word for it. Where I remember seeing you do that and thinking like, oh, I would never do that. I would never put out something that for such a kind of that maybe isn't ready yet or isn't finished, and because I would be too precious about it, and
Mm,
that was quite inspiring actually because I thought like, okay, Jax is being humble and not scared, just kind of going for things,
yeah, yeah.
which was it was very cool.
Well,
And
that's what
yeah,
someone asked me the other day about. I think it was an actor on set, a young actor on set. I've just been working on a TV show
mm,
and talking. And one thing I said about my kind of journey and my upbringing and how I got into it is it massively lent itself to my naivety
Hmm.
because lots of people come out of drama school, they're comparing themselves to people in their class who have now got a Warner Brothers movie and a Netflix show. I
Hmm.
moved to London, I met people in drama school, and they were very frustrated and angry. Fortunately for me, the only basis I had of acting was, well, nothing. I didn't, I had no base of like what I should compare myself to. So anything I got was a huge achievement. So I got cast in a student music video in Nottingham University,
Hmm.
and I was like, they picked me. Like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, and I went to Nottingham and a still of the image came out on Facebook.
Hmm.
And my family was like, he's going to make it. He's going to be a Hollywood star. He's going to be like, it was a student music video.
Yeah, yeah.
And so everything I got was so mind-blowing to me because I was like, why would they choose? I'm not even an actor. You know, that's how I felt. I was like, I'm not even trained. I
Yeah.
was comparing myself to like Hollywood movie stars, like, they're idiots to cast me in this, but obviously I'm going to do it. I was like, why would they do it? So everything was exciting. Every achievement, I always thought I was doing well. Even if I was doing short films, I
Hmm.
thought I was killing it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it helped me in my whole career being positive, optimistic, happy about my career. Whereas I've met many actors that are angry, resentful,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, really annoyed by like their peers doing so well. Why isn't it happening
Yeah.
for me? But I would do a short film. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm killing it at the moment, guys. I just got a lead. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see it. So I think that lent itself to me in a really positive way.
Yeah. And then what would you say would be, yeah, what was the kind of a big break for you? Um, uh, yeah, kind of in those early years then.
So two things
Mm,
happened. One, which might even answer a later question.
mm,
The first one is what changed my mindset on this career, and the two was an actual break, an actual
yeah,
just clean break into the industry.
yeah,
So the first one was the short film that you're
yeah.
talking about, and it's interesting what you talk about writing and stuff because I almost developed that and created it the opportunity myself. So what I now teach actors in the coaching is like there are strategies, there are normal pathways to, getting auditions and getting roles, but there's also the strategy where you can literally create opportunities for yourself. I, this director in Leeds gave me a line or a scene in his feature, which helped me get, IMDb credit to Spotlight. And I really liked his work and I really liked his brain. And I saw this MTV awarded short film where and it was
Mm,
American football player was in the closet and he was really worried about his teammates finding out that he's gay. And so it was very poetic and it was all voiceover. So you see him all in these toxic masculine settings
mm,
where it's all heightened and all lads, but actually the voice in his head is very subtle and sensitive and gentle. And it
mm,
was beautiful. And I said to Gage, the director, I want to do something like this. Can we do something like this? So he
mm,
went away and wrote the short film, and that became This World We Live In. And he came back
mm,
to me and said, "Thing." I said, I love it. And that was my first lead in a short.
mm,
That went on to do millions of views on YouTube. I had messages from people all over the world,
mm.
Brazil, Spain, America, random things. People messaging saying, I came out to my parents today because I watched your short film.
Oh my
Or
God.
I
Wow.
just watched your short film and I'm crying my eyes out. That's
Yeah.
me. That's my story.
Mm,
Lots of messages like this. What that did, that changed my entire mindset on why I'm doing this. So I just thought acting was cool. So I'd been an extra in a feature. I saw how cool it was. I saw the grand kind of how big it can be and amazing. And I used to watch like Arnold Schwarzenegger films, and I thought it
yeah.
was just cool. Once I did this short film, and this was early on, so I'm glad it happened early. This was
Hmm.
about a year into me acting. I
Mm,
realized that art can really make a difference. I
hmm.
really found out very quickly this can change people's lives. This can really change people's lives. We can actually tell stories. We can send a message.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, what's my message? What am I trying to say? What do I want to put out there?
Yeah.
What is it? What do I believe in? What are my morals? So that changed massively. I was like, I'm not an actor because it's cool, because I want to entertain, but I'm an actor because I have something to offer,
Yeah.
what story? So that changed. The second thing that actually got me in the industry is shaving my head. I know it's
Yeah.
random,
Yeah.
but there was a film on Mandy called The Modern Way, and it was about a skinhead gang against a mod gang.
Hmm.
And I wanted to do something so different. Nothing was really working for me. I was doing lots of things, but nothing was. I didn't feel like I was plunged into the industry yet. Like, everything was off my own back. I wasn't getting anything through the agent, and I was just like, oh, I want to do something that's just gonna throw it all in the atmosphere. I want to do something that's people are gonna go, whoa, he's done something crazy. And
Yeah.
I saw this tape, this audition on Mandy, and I emailed and I said, "You have in capitals to audition me for this role." I
Yeah.
was very forward, and that can go two ways. That can be like, dude, we'll decide. But they did. They gave me a shot. And I went so hard on the audition that I was like, I'm just gonna go for this. Like, I want to do something so different that no one's gonna match my tape. I want
Hmm.
to really stand out.
Hmm.
And I really wanted the role, and I got the role. I did a recall, got the role, and I just shaved my head instantly. I
Yeah.
just was like, buzzed it off. And so I went into like fittings with a shaved head, and they were just like, "Whoa, you like really committed to this." And the other actors
Yeah.
hadn't shaved it yet, and they were really scared, and they were like, "Going to do it the day before." And I was like, "No, man, I'm down for this." And at the time, I was working in events, luxury events.
Hmm.
So they wanted all these kind of good-looking guys, with nice hair and all this to
Hmm.
serve champagne to like Gucci,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and I walked in with this skinhead after filming, and my boss said, "What are you doing?" And I said,
Hmm.
"I had a role. I had a role. I had a movie role." The movie was only 2 weeks, so after 2 weeks, that's it. Back to work, nothing else in the bag.
Hmm.
And he said, "No, no, you look like a thug. You're gonna have to go in the back and make coffee."
Yeah.
And so I was in the back, and I thought, well, I might as well do some work. So I emailed every casting director in London that I could think of, saying I now have a skinhead. And at the time, Lucy Bevan was casting Batman, and they were
Hmm.
looking for skinheads in the opening of the movie. Do you know
Yeah.
about that? Have you seen it?
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen. I know the. I know the. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So they brought me in for that, and then I did a good job, and I got a couple of availability checks, and Matt Reeves asked to see my show reel, and I was like, "Whoa, that's cool, man! That's
Mm.
really cool." And then I got a new agent because I had this strong look. It
Mm.
wasn't I was going bold. It was I'd chosen to shave my head. I was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
handsome young actor with a bald head with a great hairline. So it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
more choice. It looked interesting. It
Yeah.
made me pop out and stand out on
Yeah.
spotlight on headshots. So
So what
that
did
was
you do? Did you like when you changed your look? Did you just immediately get some headshots with it?
immediately, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
Luckily, my friend was a headshot photographer.
Yeah.
It was Callum Kerr at the time. He just
Yeah.
started headshots, so he took a picture of me, and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And and then I got a new agent, and the agent responded very quickly because they found that really interesting. Um,
Off the back of the just having a new headshot and being in this film.
yeah, yeah. I think it was the look. I think it was just an interesting look and the age, and I think it was just
Mm.
the right time, the right place. It was
Hmm.
actually Ian that we used to work with. He said to me at the time, "You should be with IAM because IAM are
Hmm.
go-getters like you." The owner of that agency was like come from kind of um, yeah, Wall Street type work, very
Yeah.
very kind of Wall
Business
Street
guy.
type dude.
Yeah.
Business, yeah, yeah. So he said you should be with them. So I emailed them, and that's who I ended up with. And the
Hmm.
woman who repped me, she was very very keen on keeping the skinheads. So I went into
Hmm.
the meeting. She said, "What are you doing with the hair?" And I said, "I'm going to grow it back because I want to be in period stuff." And she was like, "No, no." She said, "Shall we keep this and shall we market this?" And this is start these certain things happen in my life. This is where I start thinking about the business.
Yeah.
This is where I start to the cogs were turning about business, USP, branding, selling yourself, marketing. I started to look at myself a bit more of a business, and it's really interesting. So we kept the skinhead, and she was really plugging me down that lane, and I started booking work straight away. So I'd never been in TV, never been in a substantial movie before, as in a decent budget. It was always like kind of these 100 grand movies and short films.
Yeah.
The moment I signed with her, the first job I booked was Peaky Blinders,
Hmm.
Silent Witness, Emmerdale, Sky Movie, and that just went on and on and on. And so with her and that kind of introduction to Lucy Bevan, that was kind of a big change for me. huge shoot. It changed my entire career. And it was only that Lucy Bevan was casting Masters of the Air, and they were looking for this sort of hair, World
Yeah.
War One, boyish looks. That I said, should we grow the hair out and try and get Masters of the Air? And I went in 4 times for that, four
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
roles over a year, and ended up getting a role in the end. So
Yeah.
that was just a
I
huge.
think we worked on that material.
Oh, we did we? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah, we worked to going for Cleven, weren't you, originally? And
God, we did.
yeah, for a
You know
while.
what? I again, another kind of interesting thing about that is they told me I wasn't going to get that role.
Mm,
They said, so I saw an article for Masters of the Air. I'd been in
yeah,
for Lucy Bevan, and I said to my agent, it's Lucy Bevan. Do you think you'd be able to get me in? She emailed Lucy Bevan, and they said, yes, we'll bring him in, but we're only casting leads right now.
yes,
So they've gone out on offer. So they said very honestly, which I love the honesty,
hmm,
will not get the role.
yeah,
Now we know Austin Butler got the role because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
already.
yeah.
So they're very honest with me. But what I saw from that was I saw an opportunity to impress. So I hired you. So I on one audition I spent probably 150 quid on coaching and accents because I got an
Mm,
accent coach and I got you to come in and
yeah,
help me.
hmm,
I wanted them to watch that and go, oh shit, this guy's not messing around. And so
yeah,
that what me to for over a year period they kept bringing me back.
yeah,
Um, I've actually just booked another role with Lucy Bevan again. So they keep
mhm,
bringing. So that was all
yeah,
from one email that like garnered the relationship and really
mhm,
put in the effort to like kind of
mhm.
impress. And so that was yeah, it's interesting because I knew I wasn't going to get the role, but I was like I have to make sure this is nails. You
Yeah.
know.
I think that's quite an interesting just a thing to think about garnering relationships with casting directors, about nurturing a relationship with a casting director. I was having a conversation with an actor I'm working with during the week about just trying to remember in even in the world of taping that we have now,
Mm.
where we don't get the direct contact, that you almost need to think about your tapes as that meeting, that you actually they have met you
Mhm.
in the modern world of auditioning, and they do know who you are, even if you haven't met in person these days. And then about just about how to foster a relationship with a casting director. I always say to people, if a casting director gets you in like 3 times, for example, then they have spoken your name and know who you are. On some level, they kind of trust you. You should email them
Yeah.
and thank them. You should email
Yeah.
them and be like, even if they haven't um, booked you, you
Yeah.
can email them and go like, oh. I appreciate your faith in me and for getting me in for those projects. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
How to garner relationships with casting officers, because you don't need all of them. You just need as you have had a good relationship with a few.
Yes.
You'll have people who like you and trust you. Um, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. How have you thought about creating relationships with casting officers in an
Well,
authentic and genuine way? I think is the kind of
yeah,
yeah,
it's a fine balance. So there's lots of advice out there, isn't there? Especially there's lots of advice saying don't email.
yeah.
Lots of people say don't bother them, don't go to. But what my again, I was always thinking about the business. In my mindset, I was like, surely you don't just audition, get an agent, audition, and just wait for a role. My mind was like, there's got to be more to this than that. Like there has to be. There's something I can do and take control of. So I started doing all these things, putting into processes, and we spoke about it. The basic thing is a contact relationship sheet. Is make sure you've got a list of every single casting director that's brought you in, and you should be writing notes on how many times they brought you in, what for, even dates. You could even put their birthday down, anything at all. Just the information is data, and that's a business mindset because businesses they have to be able to track things. And so
Yeah.
what they do is gather data. And so that's what we're trying to do, gather data, track it. Are they bringing you in? Why? If they're not, you might be able to figure that out. If they are bringing you in over and over again, like you just said, you know they're a fan of you. And so for years, I had this contact relationship sheet, saw all the patterns, and over time, you'll start to bump up the casting directors to the top of the list, and they're your priority casting directors of like these
Mm,
6 casting directors keep on bringing me in. And the most interesting is you don't know if they like you or not because they just never contact you. So I went in for, well, let's say lots of things. So casting director might bring me in for four things, right? And then never book anything. They won't message me and say, sorry you didn't book it, but great job. We're going to keep you in mind. That's it. You just audition, you send the tape, you don't get the role. The only pattern you can see is that they keep bringing you in. But I've started to email again now. So I have a few years off, really working hard, working on my own stuff. I've got a bigger agent. She was doing a lot of that work. So I felt like I could concentrate on other stuff. But I started to email again. And part of the relationship sheet is number one is you have that data so you don't look like an idiot if you email saying, hey, my name's Jack Parr. It's nice to meet you. And they go, we know exactly who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what you've been in for. And so you can thank them for it. Like you just said, you say, hey, thank you so much for bringing me in for Wrecked on BBC.
Mm.
You've been in five times. I really appreciate that. What I'm actually emailing for is because da, 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 da. And the response I was getting back was fascinating because they actually say, no, we were really gunning for you for that role. We were trying to place you in a production there, so no problem at
Yeah.
all. And number two is they respond. So you go, oh, they're responsive. They actually like me. And so again, this is all just like data that you're going, it's reassuring me that this is correct. My relationship sheet is correct. They're bringing me in for a reason because they like me. And they're
Yep.
trying to find something for me. You
Yep.
know, it's not even that they're not just taking a punt on you because they feel sorry for you. They like you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, bless him. We'll bring him in. He might book
Let him
something.
tape.
They're looking for something for you.
Yeah.
Again, I've just been hired on something with Kelly Valentine Hendry.
Mm.
She kept bringing me in for Bridgerton
Mm.
about four times, and I was like, she really wants me to get a role. And then she brought me in for something else, and I've just booked it, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
now, now she knows I can book. That's the goal. My goal is not to book something. My goal is to impress casting directors because
Mm.
I just want to be brought in over and over again because they'll find something for me.
Yeah.
And now the second goal is to book something. Now they know I can book. Now that's even better because they're like, not
Yeah.
only do we bring him in, we like him. Over time, that might get tiresome. They might go, oh, this is not really working. Or we can't find something for him, or he's just not right. And they might try and find a new actor. But now I've booked, big, big tick. Same with Lucy Bevan.
Yeah.
Booked two now, big tick on the contact relationship sheet.
Yeah.
So they are high up in the greens. They are like, this is working. Something's going on here.
Mm.
So that's kind of how I nurture them. Another thing is making sure I'm emailing at the right time, with the right information, not just random. Hey, because I've got a casting business, right? Very small, but some actors say, "Hey, I'm an actor." Cool story, bro. Good for
Yeah.
you. Or some are so long emails that they listed all this stuff, and I'm like, that information does mean nothing to me. They list
Yeah.
all the credits. It means nothing.
Yeah.
It's the right amount of like stuff that's very specific, very targeted, and it makes sense why you're emailing. So if
Mm.
I was going to email, like now I want to get into more TV than film. My agent's like, film's great, we've got to build your TV name. So
Mm.
now I'm emailing and casting out. It's like like this is who I am. This is what I've done. I tell them I'm a leading man. I've done a $5 million budget movie as a leading actor. They know what scale I'm at. But just to let you know, that's not just ego. I'm not telling you for a random reason. I'm telling you because I actually want to get into TV. So
Mm.
this, I'm transitioning. I'm telling you, I'm trying to transition. So that's kind of the work I'm doing. It's not random. I'm not just giving them information like, "Hey, I'm an
Yeah.
actor."
Yeah.
Uh, it's very targeted, the approach. And then what happened then? I started booking TV. It's like
Yeah.
I told the universe, I told people what I wanted, and then it served me. So it kind of makes sense, you know.
Very cool. We're very intentional. It's like
Yeah,
very, very intentional. Amazing. And you did a couple of years ago. You did like this kind of action movie.
yeah,
Take cover, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So and then what was your experience doing kind of action films and also working in like as an doing a US accent, playing American characters, and really stepping into kind of leading man stuff.
It was, yeah, great fun. The I think the most interesting thing is because I put this work in
Hmm.
that I'm talking about, this sort of kind of things I talk about in the coaching. I wasn't nervous when I got to my first lead role. I felt like I deserved it. I
Hmm.
felt like I was meant to be there. It didn't feel like luck or someone would give me a chance. So when I got there, I was like, no, I deserve to be here. But if I did that at 24, I would have been really nervous. I would have been
Hmm.
like, oh my God, I'm going to ruin the movie.
Yeah.
Felt like a character. I've done all this work, all this prep. I'd been gearing up for it, you know, and so I
Hmm.
felt like I deserved it, which is, again, it's not arrogance, it's just confidence,
Yeah.
and that's I think this work kind of does. It helps you walk into a room and carry that confidence. But it's interesting because I actually never saw myself in American movies as, you know, the leading man. Because I'm from like kind of Sheffield, like Nottingham, Sheffield, I wanted to do like the Shane Meadows stuff. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I really wanted to tell, grounded, gritty, northern dramas. And
Hmm.
so I started getting cast as Americans, and I was like, yes, whatever, surface level action films, I'll do it. But I actually want to do this. But when I started doing the action films, I really enjoyed it. And I thought, if the industry is pointing me down one way, I'm not going to fight it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to fight my casting type. If the industry thinks I'm this American looking dude in action films, I like working, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just a boatload of fun. You know, it's not deep. It's not, really, grounded drama. It's a load of fun. You know, there's
Hmm.
guns, there's explosions.
Hmm.
You have to be physically fit. You have to be very adaptable to trying to learn new skills,
Hmm.
combat, military training. It's very, very fun, very exciting.
Hmm.
And so it's a big challenge in a different aspect in terms of you have to be fit, you have to be ready, you have to learn new skills, the accent has to be nails, and you're competing with, or not competing, but you're trying to kind of be on the level of a leading actor. So I was working with Scott Adkins, who's, been in the martial arts action game for years. So I was trying to make sure I was up to his standard, or at least
Hmm.
not pulling him down in any way. I was like, I've got to be good in this.
Hmm.
It was a big, yeah, it was a big lesson, but it's huge amounts of fun. And so I
Hmm.
realized that, it's okay to have fun. There's lots of actors that, kind of mull over the kind of the darker stuff and really intense stuff. But I think, hey, we can have fun. We're allowed to have fun in this business. Like it is
Absolutely.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're allowed to. It's entertainment. Like we're
Hmm.
allowed to tell fun stories too,
Yeah.
uh, which is a good lesson. But yeah, it was great fun.
And
Great.
what would you say has been your kind of you've clearly responded and gone with how people have seen you. You've clearly been very aware and sensitive to how what people are responding to in you, and on some level, that ends up being casting. But yeah, what would be your kind of thoughts on and advice really on that? Because it's something that universally actors find difficult, where
Mm,
that question of what is my casting, how are people viewing me, but you seem to have been able to be aware of it and to have responded to it. So
mm.
yeah, where are you at, and how has your relationship with your casting developed over time?
Yeah, again, like I didn't fight it because I saw lots of actors fighting their casting type. They wanted to go a certain way, and they were essentially not quite there,
Hmm.
and so they were fighting it, and it wasn't working. So I, again, I think my upbringing and where I'm from, and not going to drama school helped me just enjoy working. So I was happy at the start doing
Yeah.
whatever. Now it's definitely slimmed down. I've definitely started to choose and pick a bit more of what I want to do and what I want to tell. But at first, I would do anything. So it helped me just, accept where I was going down, which road I was going down. But essentially, what I think is important for actors is really understanding themselves, really, really knowing who you are as a person, because lots of actors don't really know who they are or where they fit. And so
Hmm.
they wander around, they kind of going around London, just kind of floating around, just hoping someone's going to come and just say, "Hey,
Hmm.
man, you're going to be a movie star. You're going to come and work for me." And they don't really understand where they should be placed. And so the industry doesn't know where to place you. So I think it's really important. This is part of the work I'm doing is like we find out your identity and your USP because
Hmm.
again, it's like a business. If we know a product very, very well, we know how to sell it. If we don't know how to sell this pen, then how's a casting director going to know how to sell it? How's your agent know how to sell it? So if you look at yourself as a product, as a service, you know your product very, very well. You
Hmm.
can tell your agent and your casting director, then they know how to sell it.
Hmm.
And so if you, the a big disparity I'm seeing at the moment is like actors we're looking at their identity, their USP. Who do they see themselves as? What do other people see themselves as? What energy do they bring to the room? What's your USP? Any special skills? How were you brought up? What were your parents like? Were they strict? Were they relaxed? Like, what is it that's informed you and makes you the person you are today? And if your agent doesn't know any of that,
Yeah.
and then I say, okay, well, what parts is your agent putting you up for? And they go, this kind of parts. And I'm like, well, that
Mhm.
doesn't match your identity or USP. That might be the problem. There
Mhm.
might be some sort of problem here that we need to probably try and marry this up a little bit.
Mhm.
And we just try and discover that sort of thing in the
Mhm.
coaching. We're just like, we're trying to work out like, okay, well, who are you? And so I think for me, it was like early on, I figured out I needed to figure that stuff out very quickly. I started looking at actors having these problems, and I started going, okay, who am I? What? Because I didn't know it. I didn't know that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I was aimless. And it was when I shaved my head that I realized, then that clicked that I was like, oh, this is a market. This is a business. They're selling me as this thing now.
Hmm.
So I was like, ah. So that's a unique selling point of mine, this bald head.
Yeah.
Then I started to think about other actors that I knew that were doing really well and what they did and what their USPs were. And I was like, oh, a mate of mine, Callum Kerr, did really well. Taz Skylar, Jacob Scipio. They're very unique. They really stand out. Oh, they
Mhm.
know themselves. They're
And,
really confident in themselves.
just as an example, what would be either Callum or Taz or
Yeah.
what kinds of things were you seeing that they were doing that was really kind of working?
So very easy. They stand out like a sore thumb because they've figured out a way to blend certain elements together to make them stand out. So we've got thousands and thousands of actors in London. Lots of us are very we're blending in. I think it's a drama school thing where you said you should be a blank canvas, you can play different roles.
Yeah.
Now, what Callum Kerr did and Taz Skylar, so Callum Kerr is a hunky, charismatic, confident Scottish man, right? His dream was to go to Texas, Austin, Texas. He found out he's incredible at singing. One day we're taping together, and he goes, I got to sing in this tape, but I'm a bit embarrassed. Can you get out of the room?" I was like, "Come on, man, just sing the damn song." Thinking he's going to be terrible, and he starts singing, and it blew my mind. Like he's got an amazing voice, and he can play the guitar, no problem. And I said, Why aren't you using that? I just don't get it. Why aren't you using it?" And he's like, I'm kind of embarrassed. Anyway, he plucked up the courage and the confidence to start doing it, and he loves country music. So he said, I will always be in Texas. That's something where I want to be. That's my dream. So he moved to Texas, loves country music. He started doing country music and playing the guitar and singing on TikTok and Instagram stuff, creating his own songs. Next minute, followers start to blow up. He gets a record label, and one of his first gigs was in a Western country TV show called Monarch in America
Hmm.
because he's unique. He's a Scottish, handsome Chris Hemsworth looking dude who plays country music in Austin, Texas. So let's say he's down to that's two for this role, and you've got a Texas country singer or you've got a Scottish country singer. He just stands out. He's just like he's interesting. He walks through, he's got a Scottish accent. People love it. People love the Scots. It's charming, it's charismatic. It just everything. I don't know anyone like that. I don't
Yeah.
know any country singer like that. So
Mm.
it's just very interesting. Like he got a break through his unique skills and his identity and his USP. Right?
Yeah.
He made himself very different to everybody else. Taz
Mm.
Skylar,
Mm.
when I
And
first met
Cal
Taz,
just a quick because
yeah,
Callum also did a lot of, he's done a lot of groundwork with, he was on Hollyoaks and
yeah,
putting a lot of work with his acting and things. But he's now in like
One
in
Piece.
One Piece. Yeah, one of
Yeah,
the main
Taz
characters.
Skylar. Yeah,
Oh, was Stan Scholar in that as well?
Taz Skylar's in it. Yeah.
Come
So
on.
the two bloody guys that I know who are like so unique and so
Yeah.
that I looked up to, they're both in One Piece.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry, just to
Go on.
agree with you. Callum Kurt, he put in the groundwork. He was the most hardworking dude. Part of his USP is he'll outwork anyone. He's like a lion.
Yeah.
He was so aggressively hardworking that there's no it's not luck, you know.
Yeah.
I totally get why he is where he is. And so I took a lot of that knowledge from him and was like, okay. So yeah, he put in the groundwork. And so when an opportunity came, he could prove his point, you know,
Hmm.
right for it. And Tazkala, same. When I met Tazkala, he had brown hair. He was a little bit overweight. He kind of fit in. He kind of blended in, but his acting was very, very exciting. He was a very, very explosive actor. When saw him in the workshop, he was so explosive and interesting, and yeah, fun to watch. That I thought I'd never dare to do that. He's almost like spitting on the casting director in front of him when they're reading to go. I was like, it's so bold
Yeah,
and so brave. And so I went up to him after. I was like, "Oh my God, dude! I think you're gonna go places. You've got something."
yeah,
Um, and then I thought, "Wow, I've got some work to do." But what he did over time, he developed his this uniqueness. He ended up shaving his head, dyed his hair blonde. So he had a blonde shaved head, like Slim Shady. He got super into fitness and extreme sports. He'd be that guy that hangs on cranes with no harness and videos it and like skydive all the time. So he started doing all these things. He got super fit, had these cool tattoos, bald head, blonde hair, ended up signing with Independence. His agent was strong and big and got him through great doors.
hmm,
And he stands out just by looking at him. So same with my bald head idea. It's like when you're going through Spotlight from a casting perspective,
uh-huh,
sometimes it's 7,000 applicants. And you're scrolling through headshots like this big. And so there's like four on each row.
hmm,
And so you're scrolling, and so the first round is trying to figure out who looks right for the role or who pops out at you.
hmm.
As Skylar jumps out the screen,
Yeah,
his presence is so unique. Then you get to meet him. He's this crazy, fun, interesting guy. He's actually Spanish, but he's learned the American accent so well that you think he's from London. He's got like this East London accent. He's
hmm,
probably smart enough to know that there's a lack of Spanish roles in the UK, in the UK
hmm,
market. So everyone thinks he's English, but he's actually Spanish. He goes back to Spain. And he's talking Spanish on Instagram. I'm like, what? I thought he was fluent. No, he is Spanish. He's born
hmm,
in Spain. I mean, very, very smart guy. Very,
hmm,
very smart. Again, same thing. Started writing his own stuff, making his own kind of destiny, started putting on plays. Those guys remind me of like the Elliot Warrens. Like, put your own play on, get
yeah,
it really good. Uh, it starts going really well, goes to Soho Theatre, casting directors come see that. They make their own, success. They
yeah,
create their own success, and that's what they all do. And they're just combined with all these things, the mindset, the business mindset, the go-get attitude, being unique, standing out, being different, knowing yourself, being confident enough to walk into a room and know exactly what you've got to offer. You
mm,
already possess those things. You're not pushing anything, performing anything. This is who you are. That's what those guys did very well, and they're all doing really well. It makes complete sense to me. Like
yeah,
it's just so so obvious to me. You know.
yeah. Amazing. Elliot Warren's that's who ended up getting the Batman thing, no?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. He's great. He's
He's
great, and he got Masters of the Air, big role in Masters of the Air as well.
yeah,
That he made a very strong relationship with Lucy Bevan
yeah,
through Flesh and Bone. End up
but
so because it won an Olivier Award, didn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those guys, they're just they're interesting to watch. Very interesting.
And then yeah, just talk to us a little bit about the kind of other strings to your bow. So you've also written, directed for film, and yeah, how's that been kind of yeah, the journey into being on the other side of the camera and also producing as well, wasn't it? You produced stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Again, it's just about trying to take control of my own career because this acting career is so fickle and you just never know when you're going to get a job. I
Hmm.
just hated that idea of letting this my whole career be in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if it like I started writing really early on. I
Hmm.
mean, it was probably like 6 months into an act, starting acting.
Hmm.
I was like, well, if no one's going to give me a part, I better write something. So I started to learn how to write. And then when no one would direct my writing, then I was like, well, I better direct it then. Because if no
Mm.
one's going to come and save me, I better just do it myself. And I was so scared about the lighting and the camera work and all this sort of stuff. But I had directors that I was working with who just said, don't worry about that. Just go and do it, hire the right people, and you'll be fine. And so I got really kind of excited about you can create your own work. The directing was a totally different kettle of fish. You're
Hmm.
not auditioning, waiting. You're writing something forming a team, figuring out how to finance that, shooting it, editing it, and then you can package and sell it. Awesome. If you're a business person, you'll love that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Employing people, starting a company, you know, thinking about different financing structures and tax and all that sort of stuff. Like it just fascinated me, that sort of world. And so when I was on sets, I was always looking at how this thing works. Who are all these people? What? Why is there 100 people around here? What do they all do? So I started asking them. I was like, what do you do? Grip. What's that? I help the camera get to where it needs to be, or I build the camera, or I move the camera. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
helping the camera department. Oh, cool. First AC, what's that? First AD, what's that? What do you do? That or this or that, or I move people from this point to this point. I'm a coordinator, I'm a production. And then on take cover, I used to walk past this down this hallway to the set every day, and on the right was this production office. And every morning I'd pop my head in, hey, good morning, guys. And they're like, hey, look up from the computers. And then one day I like pulled back in, I was like, what do you all do? Like, because I understand how the set works. Like I
Hmm.
understand every department on set now. But I was like, why are you in the office? What's there to do? We're filming already. We've got the film already made. So what are you and so I started to understand what a production coordinator does and a production manager and all these sort of different roles. And I was like, that's interesting. Like it's still gotta, the machine's still gotta run whilst we're out there doing the fun stuff. And so that then got me into producing. Because
Hmm.
then once I developed that sort of excitement, then I was like, that's a producer. Then a producer makes sure oversees all this sort of stuff. And they make
Hmm.
sure all this A to Z is making
Hmm.
sure it's going to be finished on time, packaged and
Hmm.
sold, and nothing goes completely terrible. So that's how I kind of got into it. It was basically a lot of asking questions, being curious.
Hmm.
And there's lots of actors that don't care. They don't want to know anything to do with the film or camera,
Hmm.
and that's fine. But I just have a certain brain that wants to know everything.
Hmm.
It's a blessing in disguise. No, sorry, it's a pro and a con.
Hmm.
Because the con is, are you going to be a jack of all trades? Or can you refine one amazing thing? But I can't help it. I just want to know everything. I want to know how everything works. I
Hmm.
want to know every department. And it has helped me as an actor.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and uh, Jack, have you got any kind of real can be tough lessons you've learned on set, or any advice for anyone stepping onto set for the first time?
I mean, you see so many actors come and go and problems they do, and it seems so obvious when they're doing it. You're just like, how do you not see yourself?
Hmm.
Part of the coaching
Yeah.
is branding.
Hmm.
And in my mind, branding is what people describe you when you're not in the room. So your identity is how you describe yourself. USP is what makes you stand out, and your branding is how what people say about you when you're not there. So when your name comes up in that casting office, what do they say? What are the first things they say? And what you're trying to achieve with branding over a lifelong period of time is go, oh my God, dream. Absolutely. You've got to work with them. You've got to work with them. So I try and make every single department run smooth. I try and make the costume department run smooth because if the costume department runs smooth, then I'm in makeup on time and they run smooth. And then by the time the ADs are calling down to third AD, we need Jack on set, I'm already there. And they're like, fuck, this guy's quick. Every other actor I work with are slow compared to me
Hmm.
because I'm already a step ahead because they want to concentrate on just their script and their acting. And and it's not a problem. I get it.
Hmm.
Actors only do something when they're told to, which is fine. That's just how the set runs. The
Hmm.
costume knocks on your door and they go, can you get in costume now? And you go, yep. And they knock on your door and they go, we're ready for your makeup. But I try and think ahead. So if I know which scene I'm doing first and I know exactly which costume I'm in, and say if in my trailer there's three costumes, but I know exactly which costume I'm in, and I know which props go on which hand and which everything is there. I just get ready so that when they call me, I'm already ready to go and I'm on set in 30 seconds. Because there's a big problem where actors are a bit slow and they disappear a lot. They just go to the toilet without turning him on. And then the ADs call down and then they're not there and they've lost them and it just freaks everyone out and it wastes time. And then what the reason why this has developed is because I've directed, produced, and been in the casting chair. So I've seen problems that actors don't think they're even doing anything wrong, but it's
Hmm.
creating this huge problem on set where it's just like circling around like, oh my God, it's a nightmare. And that's part of your branding. So you get tarnished with a certain kind of idea. We've worked with actors with like, we'll work with them again. Even actors that have got like
Hmm.
great TV credits because a bit of a nightmare. So
Yeah.
part of my branding is that I'm on set first, off set last. Very forward thinking will help every department out. So the costume would knock on my door and open the door and be like, oh, you're in costume. That's great. Thank you. Have you got your ring and you what? Oh, dream. Close door. Bang. If I do that with every department, when my name comes up in the production office when they're having a big meeting, then every department shouts my name is good, then that helps decisions push over the line. So, for an example, is that I got a lead role in this movie in Bulgaria, studio film, lead role. Could have had a name. It was $1 million budget movie.
Hmm.
And I was on the plane going, why did they pick me? Like, yeah, I auditioned right. Yeah, I've got the accent down. And I know the director and the studio exec, but I know how business works. Like you need a name to sell the movie. You need to sell tickets. And I get it, it's horror. You don't necessarily need a name for that, but definitely could have had someone bigger than me. Like, definitely could have had someone with at least a bit more, like, kind of shout than me, for sure. £1 million is a lot to make back. You
Hmm.
know, they're banking on this. And so when I got there, what had happened is the director and the studio executive were fighting with the sales team. The sales team were like, we need a bigger name. Them two were like, trust me, we only have 17 days. We need someone who's going to come in, get the job done. We know Jack. We know he's going to do a great job. We know he's going to be on set on time, and there's going to be no fuss. They
Hmm.
were scared of having a name and getting calls from the agent, and they were going to mess around and be slow to set. And just, they were like, we've got 17 days, we need someone. And luckily, I'd worked at the studio on a proof of concept. I was
Hmm.
there for 1 week. And that 1 week, part of my branding of what I showed them tipped that over the edge. So
Hmm.
I'd worked with the stunt team on that proof of concept, worked with the costume department, blah blah blah. So when my name come up in the production office, every department went, because the director told me, he's like, oh, the stunt team were like, yeah, no, he's sick. He can do stunts really well. Like he's really good at stunts.
Hmm.
That helps the decision. That helps people go,
Yeah.
it's all of us against you, the sales guy. So
And,
sorry.
and just so I can understand, so what is uh, your branding, Jack? Or because you have spoken to me about this before. I thought it was fascinating. So what is your Jack Parr branding? Different from your casting type. What's your branding?
Yes. So my branding is exactly that. What I said about being on set. It's that people when my name is spoken, a few things. The energy on set, I bring a lot of energy and a lot of positivity, optimism, and again, it's simple, but a lot of actors are miserable, frustrated. Um, Honestly, I've just been working with some actors. I'm like, Jesus, you're very hardworking, reliable,
Hmm.
and makes everyone's lives easy. So when my name comes up, those are the kind of main things that they remember from me. So
Yeah.
that every time branding, how I see branding is every time you're on set, when you leave set, how do they remember you? And that
Hmm.
will help you get job after job after job if you do the
Yeah.
branding.
Hmm.
So the branding is like, because Callum Kerr's got great branding. When he walks on set, he makes everyone feel special. He
Hmm.
makes from the driver to the catering, knows
Hmm.
everyone's names. He's like a Tom Cruise, knows everyone's name. That's a business strategy,
Yeah.
and you can do it if you already possess that and that is just you, in a nutshell.
Hmm.
Well done. You've
Hmm.
got some great traits,
Yeah.
but you can actually manufacture that and help yourself by learning people's names, being very nice, positive.
Hmm.
Now, from directing and producing, I understand things might go wrong that's out of their control, so I don't
Hmm.
get frustrated. If something really frustrating happens to me, I go, don't worry about it. I get
Hmm.
it. Fine.
Hmm.
No problem. And
Hmm.
that's being a collaborator. So
Hmm.
certain actors think that if you don't put your foot down and you don't speak the truth and say how you feel, then you're a walkover actor. You need to feel. And to me personally, we don't hire those actors again because they're just too much stress. They
Hmm.
don't understand how this is working, operating. There's a lot. I've just been working with an actor that on ITV that shouting on set, demanding, and because he thinks that that makes him a bigger actor. That makes him experienced. Hey, come on! I need my makeup done. Like, come on, let's move. Are we going to move the cameras now? Are we rolling or what? And it's like, dude,
Hmm.
you're killing your opportunities, and your branding is so strong in the opposite direction of mine,
Yeah,
which is, I know exactly how they will say your name in the next time. We go, oh. Very demanding, very hard to work with, frustrating. That is branding. So my branding is reliable, very, very optimistic, hardworking, and yeah, I think that's pretty much
kind
it.
of trustworthy, isn't it?
Trustworthy, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Leading man. When we spoke about this the other day, that I thought it was very interesting how you were kind of articulating that then feeds into the roles that you'll be cast in, because this kind of hardworking, trustworthy positivity lends itself to a hero,
Yeah, yeah,
lends itself to a young, leading man. That those are kind of
yeah,
qualities that you would expect from a typical, a kind of classic heroic character,
yeah.
um, and helps people to think about you that way.
Well, that's what I think. Sometimes when I'm doing the coaching, we're going through it, and I say, I know this sounds simple. I know this might look kind of a bit, obvious to you, but if we do the groundwork, they all lend themselves to each other. So then you'll understand that this makes a great character because of these reasons. And if you know yourself very well, you'll know where you fit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's which, you know, we're doing the groundwork because it really matters. And then 3 or 4 sessions in, we start to see it. We start to see it work because that then lends itself to presentation, which
Hmm.
is profiles, showreel, headshots. They all line up. Does it make sense? Do these match? If
Hmm.
they doesn't match, is that why you're not booking roles? Is there some sort of break in everything that it's not landing? Well,
Hmm.
something's going wrong. Something's not working here.
Yeah.
Look at all of it and see if it all lines up. So
Hmm.
it's fascinating.
Um, okay, Jack. Well, it's been such a lovely conversation with you, and just congratulations on everything that you're doing, and I'm so kind of happy I was going to say proud, but just we've obviously known each other for a long time, and
Yeah.
you're one last thing, uh, Jack. What are you really optimistic for, and what does the future hold for you? What are you most optimistic for coming into the next sort of 5, 10 years of your career?
Interesting. So the most exciting thing is that I don't know.
Yeah.
And so for this year is the first year. I've now got jobs lined up, but before
Hmm.
any jobs, I didn't have anything, and I was for the first time excited.
Hmm.
I felt excited about what opportunities could be here.
Hmm.
Before I'd be like, oh, I haven't got any work yet. It's March. I don't know what's going on. I'm very excited of the unknown. I
Hmm.
think like this world, the world we're in, we know that it can change overnight. You could
Hmm.
get a role and it could change your entire life. I think that's very exciting. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm looking forward to the next 5, 10 years.
Hmm.
Who knows? What
Who-
could happen? So I'm excited for the future, but also the progress that I've been on is
Mhm,
always been going up and up and up.
mhm,
So I feel like it's going to carry on that way because I've been tracking it and I'm putting stuff into place where I feel like I'm always leveling up.
yeah,
So in the next 5, 10 years, the goals I've got, I'm looking forward to seeing that come into
carry on
fruition.
that upward trajectory. Um, okay, Jack. Thank you so much, and real pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Great,
Uh,
great,
Take
great
care.
chat. Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
much love, Jack. Thank you.
All right, thanks, dude.